Welcome to the Vintage Super Pro Qualifier. I am your host, Bryant Cook, and today we are playing 4-color Paradoxical Outcome. As my friend Jeremy would say, it's BCPO. This is the deck, for the most part, that I played over the summer when I was on my vintage heater. And one of the things about Magic is people say that it's cylindrical. And right now, I actually think that the deck that I played over the summer is really well positioned now. When I was crushing with this deck, Bug was everywhere. The Bug Midrange deck with Death Threat, Shaman, and Collector Roof. Dredge was at an all-time low, and Xerox was popular. Well, we're back at that same exact metagame, but I've learned some things since then, and we're not playing the same exact 75. So I'm going to go over some of this stuff, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of insight of why I chose this deck list. So uh, we have our 6 fetch lands. Technically, it's probably better to split like one of them with one Misty, but I'm too lazy for that. One copy of Basic Island, it doesn't get by Wasteland. And when you're 4 colors, it's really hard to play more than one basic, if I'm being completely honest. Which is why we're running a Volcanic in the board. I'd love if I didn't waste a sideboard slot on a basic or on a land, but sometimes you have to. So that's why we only have one Volk, because we only have 2 red cards in the main. We come down to the artifacts. These are all pretty stock. 3 Mox Opal, 2 Top, Soul Ring. Like, if you've ever seen a Paradoxical Outcome list before, these are the 14 artifacts that see play, with the 15th being Bolas's Citadel. Probe, Misstep, Ancestral, Welcome to Vintage. Flusterstorm is something that I sort of made popular over the summer. A lot of lists before me weren't playing it, and it just made a lot of sense to me because you can get it with Merchant Scroll and or Mystical just to protect your Tinker. Like, my list is super Tinker focused, which is why you see Mystical in here. Mystical, Vamp, Demonic, they all want to get Tinker. You want to protect Tinker, and Flusterstorm is a big part of that. And your Tinker target is obviously Bolas's Citadel, which easily wins the game in this style of deck. So we have our tops that help make our Citadel function well. This deck is just really smooth, if I'm being honest. Ponder, Preordain. This is a slot that I spent some time last night considering. I think ultimately it's best to play Preordain. That said, I considered making them Night's Whisper. I think it's just too much on a 4-color mana base to not be playing Preordain. All your lands tap for blue. You have 2 that tap for Night's Whisper. In a perfect world, those would be Night's Whisper in my opinion, because I think it's more effective. But I think they need to be preordained for how this deck works. Not only is it better on the mana base, you sort of need them for the blue count, in my opinion. For Force of Will, that is. Vamp, we covered. Pyroblast. This is a card I actually wanted a third of, but there's so many cards I want to play that I just can't fit. So we're playing the third in the board. When I was on my heater, I was running 2 Pyroblast main, and then Hull Breacher and a bunch of other stuff happened, and everyone started running 4 Pyroblast and then 3. And recently with Bug, I've been considering only 2 being correct. You don't really want that card getting clogged in your hand, so I don't know. I go back and forth on it. You could not run the Hurkyl's Recall in the main and run 3 Pyroblast. That's something I've considered. You can also not run Mystical, but Mystical for Tinker is just worth it in my opinion. Snapcaster. This is a card I added last night. Snapcaster is not a uncommon card in PO by any means, but it's something that I didn't realize that I liked until more recently. I've played it over the last few months in various lists, and sometimes it doesn't make the cut, sometimes it does. It's really that 58 to 59th card slot. Sometimes it's 61. It just really depends on your list. And here we're playing it over Narset. Narset can be a little bit tough on the mana sometimes, and I feel like she doesn't live that often anymore. So between Abrupt Decays and Pyroblast and things like that, I thought Snapcaster might be slightly better. It's better in more matchups as well. Snapcaster, I don't really board out ever, where Narset gets boarded out pretty frequently. So I think Snapcaster is just a better all-around card at the moment, and if you're looking to do well in a large event, you want more flexibility. So that's why I'm running Snapcaster Mage. Time Walk. This is a card that I've cut. I've released a few videos on not playing this card. It's back, but only because my win condition is Monastery Mentor. If you're running a Tendrils or a Grape Shot, I don't play Time Walk. I actually don't like the card very much, but when you're running Mentors or WinCon, you kind of are forced to run it. It's also a great Snapcaster target, so that way you can take multiple turns in a row. Yeah, Demonic's pretty obvious. Lavinia, part of the reason to run one, in my opinion. I don't know. Like, you could run one of her. I just think that if you're going to run Lavinia, you should probably run two. Running one isn't very consistent, in my opinion. But I've seen lists that run one Lavinia, one Snap instead of like 2-0. I'm actually running 2-1, which is pretty uncommon. But yeah. So it's weird because with Bug being the best deck in the format, Lavinia is not very good against Bug. I just think that Lavinia tends to be pretty good versus a lot of the other decks in the format. Like, I am not playing any Graveyard Hate on my board, like actual 0. So Lavinia helps me short my Dredge matchup while being good in other matchups because Dredge has a really tough time beating Lavinia. So Lavinia is not a hammer. She's just versatile, and that's sort of what I'm going for. If you run a bunch of hammers, they all don't line up well. Like, Hurkyl's Recall is a hammer, but it's pretty bad in a lot of matchups. Like, we have the fortunate effect of being able to like draw a card with it using top, but for the most part, like, I think Hurkyl's Recall is pretty stinky. So Lavinia is just more versatile. Tinker is obviously like one of the best cards in the deck. It's probably like Ancestral Lotus Tinker. Like, Tinker's very, very good, which is why the list is so built around casting it. And then we're looking to win the game with Citadel. Yawgmoth's, well, I mean, you can flash it back with Snapcaster Mage, which is sort of nice. Works really well in this style of deck. We are a combo deck after all. 2 copies of Teferi. This is actually the card that brought me back to playing 4-color PO today. I was playing a Grixis list with 3 Pyroblast, and I wanted to run a card in the main deck that answered Collector Roof that was versatile. Like, that's the big thing that you want to get out of this intro, is I like versatility. And I think Repeal is a very, very, very bad card. I don't enjoy playing it. It's clunky. It feels not very impactful. Teferi ends up being a card that just wins a lot of matchups. It's tough for Bug to answer. Against shops, it can bounce a sphere. It's terrific against the Xerox decks. Like, it's good in almost every matchup. So I'm a really big fan of Teferi. Like, Repeal's pretty embarrassing to have in blue matchups because it's just like 1 blue draw card. Maybe steal your artifact back from deck. Where Teferi is just like a must counter. Holy crap, this thing's going to win the game. So, and on top of that, it's versatile. So I love Teferi. Teferi is the card that I decided would be my main deck answer to Collector Roof. We can't tutor for it, but I think that's fine. And that's another beautiful thing about Snapcaster Mage, by the way, is that it's Ambush Viper. You can block a Collector Roof. So don't forget about that. And the rest of this, pretty stock. And the board, Balance. This is a card that after I was on my heater, I discovered as a way of beating Bug. It's pretty good. Like, I like playing Balance. Yeah. Especially in your deck full of artifacts, you can sandbag some lands or have your lands get wastelanded and then just bury them with Balance. I've certainly done that in the past. A few extra Flusterstorm, those come in for control and combo matchups, Hurkyl's. Like, all this seems pretty self-explanatory. Bolt is primarily for Bug. You can also board it against the Bant Hate Bears deck. Kills Archon of Emeria. The extra Pyroblast is in there. The list that I ran over the summer actually ran 4. Excuse me. And 2 were on the board. I cut the 4th for the Balance. I just feel like I was boarding in too many counter spells, and that's not really where I want to be. Balance just makes more sense. Sprite Dragon. Part of the reason to run red in this 4-color build. It's really good against Bug. For the last few months, I haven't loved Sprite Dragon. The format's been so Pyroblast-centric where Dragon has felt embarrassing, and we're finally getting through that. So, Sprite Dragon's back. The extra Volk is in the board for when you board in more red cards. Needle. This is admittedly one of the few bizarre slots that I have. You can board in Needle against other strategies. I don't usually do it. Like I've sided in against like the Depth Shop deck before. It's fine, but it's primarily just a name bizarre. I find that it's better than like trying to remove their graveyard only to have them have a full graveyard a turn later. So I'm a big fan of Needle. Just stop the bizarre up front. And then your Blightsteel, another Tinker target. This is mostly for shops, if I'm being honest. You can board it in a few other matchups, but it's primarily for shops and just like winning without casting a bunch of spells, pretty much. So this is BCPO, 4-color PO, whatever you like to call it. BCPO makes me think of my friend Jeremy, and it puts a smile on my face. So I'm not trying to claim PO or anything. It's just big fan of that guy. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else left to say about this list. I feel like I've been blabbering. So if you enjoy this content, please make sure to subscribe. I'm trying to hit 3,000 subscribers this month. It would mean a lot to me. I'm at like 260 away at the moment, so I would greatly appreciate your support. Yeah, and if you want to support this content, you're always welcome to do a donation deck list. I will play your combo deck list on this channel. The first tier, I will just play your deck and then make suggestions at the end. The second tier, you actually get a discount on merchandise from the Epic Storm shop. On top of that, I'll help you with your deck before I record. So that way your deck will seem more fine-tuned. I'll play your deck, and then at the end of that league, I'll make suggestions. With the Epic tier, you actually get to join me in the video to discuss your deck. We'll work super close to make your deck better. We'll get down to the nitty-gritty of deck building. I'm talking like sideboard mapping. Like we're going to get really in-depth with how your deck works. You get 15% off merchandise from the Epic Storm shop, and along with the other things from the previous tier. So I would highly recommend checking out the epicstorm.com/donation decks. And round number 1 will be coming up in just a second. Welcome to round number 1. We are playing against Shin 4, and we are on the play. Their Goldfish history has one deck under it, and it is Burn. So not sure what to think of what they're playing, but we've opened up a pretty strong hand. We're going to try this one out. Usually people that are unfamiliar with the format tend to play Dredge or Bazaar. So it'll be interesting to see what this person's playing. I'm not saying that they're unfamiliar, it's just a wild guess. We have a turn 1 Paradoxical Outcome. Part of me wonders if I'm supposed to just like play my stuff and pass, because if they're not on a blue deck, I can PO on their turn into force. So now if they're on chops, I can PO whenever I want and not have to worry about it getting countered. If they're a blue deck, I can potentially draw a blue card for Force of Will. Basic Forest. Death Right. So they're likely on Bug, if I had to guess. They could also be on GAC. I think I'm going to attempt a PO here. That was good. Shocking, the draw a million cards play was decent. Guess I could vamp into Tinker. Tank, well, this is going well. uh, yeah, we can play another one of you. Hold control. We're going to give PO flashback. Our win condition is Monastery Mentor, so we're trying to find Mentor at this point. Let's just go grab Mentor. I still don't have a white mana yet, but we're going to PO for a bunch and fix that. Alright, well that Lotus card is pretty good, I heard. I could have sacked the Lotus to make more monks, but I like keeping my stuff around. So now we play Mentor. Whoops, did I tap for the wrong color? I must have. Get out of here, PO. Come on. I'm trying to win the game. We've already cast Time Walk, so we will be taking another turn after this. Let's get some information on what they're playing. So they're on BUG. They just didn't have the... They had turned to Oof, which would have been bad for us. Alright, I think we've done enough damage for now. Let's pass. Nice basic forest. Alright, and waiting on our opponent to allow our mana vault trigger to resolve here. I guess while we wait, if you want to support this content, you know where to go. theepicstorm.com/shop. Summer's right around the corner. I would highly recommend the Storm 20 baseball tee. It's light and it's comfortable. Great design, personally. Love baseball. And I'd recommend checking that out. Or you can quench your summer thirst with an Epic Storm pint glass. Alright, our opponent's back. I don't think I want to show them Lavinia. Let's just get in there. End this game. Come on. Alright, so while our opponent's dying, I'm going to add this info into my spreadsheet. I'm going to give the credit to this game to Paradoxical Outcome because it was the initial like engine that we used, the first thing that we used to start our winning nonsense. And they're on BUG. Alright. Still winning on our opponent. So let's talk about sideboarding a little bit. We want to get rid of the Lavinias. Those are not good in this matchup. We want our Lightning Bolts. We want our Volk. We want Sprite Dragon. Sprite Dragon is great against Bug. Helps beat Collector Roof. They don't have great removal for it. Like, they have Abrupt Decay, but outside of Decay, like, they don't have much. There's no Pyroblast or Swords or anything. And Decay has plenty of targets, including Teferi. We want the balance. So as of right now, we want this balance, 2 Bolt, Volks, that's 7 slots. We're definitely boarding out Lavinia. I like shaving a Mox Opal. It's not going to be a popular opinion, but I like boarding up Mystical and Vamp. I found that these matchups tend to be a little bit grindy, and you don't want the card disadvantage in your deck. So I like boarding those out. Yeah. I feel like our opponent might be double queuing. So right now, what you can do is open up the description. In there, you will find a bunch of links. Go to the social section and join our communities. A lot of smart individuals in there. The Combo Cabal is thick with powerful mages. So join it. Get better at playing combo. I highly recommend it. Particularly the Discord is a great community. Would check that out. And this is the Storm 20 baseball tee that I was referencing. Alright, our opponent is finally taken damage. So we want this Volk. I like the bolts. Bring in the balance. We want these dragons. So some people like boarding in Blightsteel here. I'm not a huge fan. They do play Oko in their deck. And Oko is an answer much like Dak Vaden that just cleanly answers Blightsteel. The reason why people do it is because Citadel can theoretically be hit by Force of Vigor. I think that's just like a risk that you take instead of like just having your Tinker target immediately lose to Oko. Get rid of this Hercules Recall. I like shaving an Opal, as I mentioned. Alright, so that leaves us at 63. Oh, the Lavinias. Let's get rid of those. So 61. Almost there. I like the Teferis. I don't want to get rid of those. In theory, you could board up on a Pyroblast. I just find that sometimes Pyroblast isn't great against Bug, and then you end up like sitting there. It kills Leovold and like hits their forces, so it's not awful. Um, but right now, what we could do is like board out True Preordain, and then board in Pyro. I don't think I'm against that. Let's try this out. And if you're interested, for $12, we have the mini token pack. You get 54 tokens. Highly worth it, in my opinion. Make sure to go check those out. On the back, you get 54 goblin tokens, 9 of each. And they're mini. Check them out. Alright, so I'm just like killing time waiting for our opponent to actually like play Magic with us. And you may be thinking, Bryant, you're down on time. Why are you complaining? Well, when I'm down on time, I'm taking game actions. Our opponent is just like hanging out, doing something else, likely double queuing. Alright, come on, opponent. Sorry, I know this can't be entertaining for you watching this person just not doing anything, but I've killed enough airtime at this point where I don't know what else to do. Oh, thank you for joining us. Turn 1 Teferi seems strong. Would really love to draw a fetch land. I have Pyroblast backup. I think I'm going to keep this. I'd also take a Force of Will. They put 2 on the bottom of the Preordain. Demonic Tutor. Come on, deck. Give me that fetch land. It's a land, not the fetchable kind. Alright, I'm going to just plus this to Teferi. And that's a preemptive move to play around a certain creature that I don't want to lose to. So our opponent's probably going to cast Ancestral Recall here. and we can't stop it because we didn't draw a fetch land. But on our turn, we're looking to PO. Oh, petty theft, really? I didn't know Bug played that card. Alright, well, Ruby was a good draw. Come on, force it. Pitching days. Alright, so they have 4 cards in hand. 2 of them are lands. That hurts. We have Snapcaster for Pyro. Our opponent will get the draw card off this. I feel like we're actually behind now. But that could all change if this PO resolves. Alright, well there's a blank piece of cardboard. Please, PO. I would love if you resolved. We can pay for a fluster. Oh no. This looks like a hard cast. I don't even want to say it. Decay? Okay. That's certainly better than the other card I was afraid of. Hardcast Force Negation. Are we going to double Dargon them? That seems like the play to me. You know it was coming. How awesome. Alright, we're 1-0 in this BTQ. Round number 2, we're on the play. No clue what our opponent's playing. But this seems pretty good to me. I think here we're probably just going to go like Volcanic Island, Manival, Opal Pass. Because you want to be able to protect this Ancestral Recall with Pyroblast. And if we draw a blue card next turn, we'll have double backup. The downside of this play is if our opponent's on chops, you almost have to let whatever resolve on turn 1. I was a little bit late to this round. I was watering some houseplants. So, like, I'm sorry if I seem like I'm just getting my shit together. All right. What are you playing, Golden State Warriors? All right. Well, they're a blue deck. All right. What are you thinking about? Maybe they're just trying to get even on clock. No, they're down on clock. All right, so they're on Doomsday. We haven't even played a full turn cycle yet, and this person's down 4 minutes. All that for a preordain. So our best draws next turn are a blue card or an artifact to turn on Opal. Because both would allow us to have force back up for this Ancestral. So we have a lot of live draws. They did one on top, one on the bottom with preordain. So now this Ancestral could end up being our win condition, depending on what happens. Hopefully, as the day progresses, we, well, one, we keep winning. Two, in the winner's bracket, maybe our opponents will be a little bit more experienced with the format, and we'll be sitting here less long. Maybe some of the people double queuing will decide to drop. Now, I don't think this person's double queuing, but both of our opponents have been a little bit slow. I always feel guilty, like uploading matches where I know that our opponents play painfully slow, but it's better than not uploading at all. I can only think of like one video in recent history where I didn't upload because of how slow my opponents played. Like I just didn't. Like I spent the entire video trying to fill dead air time, and it just looked bad. Like my opponent's clock finished with like 3 minutes, and we were at 19. And then the next match we got paired against someone else that was pretty slow, and I just decided I wasn't going to upload that video because it would have been miserable. So. And we're still waiting on Doomsday to resolve. If you're interested, the Eternal Glory podcast is a legacy podcast. It is myself, Brent Cook, Brian Koval, and Phil Gallagher. We discuss a variety of topics. We're pretty entertaining. We dabble into vintage every once in a while. I'd recommend checking us out. We're available on all major podcast platforms. All right, our opponent has resolved Doomsday. So let's look. Force of Negation, 3 Force of Will. So there's either a Force of Will in their hand or in their pile. Alright, Vamp was one of our worst draws because it doesn't actually do anything. I could try to sandbag them and like ancestral targeting them. I don't think that's a great line. So here, I think we actually have a Tinker. But we're going to lose Pyroblast backup if we take that line. I mean, they let Ancestral resolve. Well, part of the issue is that Tinker might not win, too. Like, it could end up being a Tinker pass, which would be pretty embarrassing. We could, in theory, just pass. And then have Force Pyroblast up. Is that better? So the question is if we're trying to resolve Tinker right now. I think I'm just going to pass. I think having double counter up is probably better. I think if we let this resolve, we probably die. So I'm just going to counter it. They've played their land. I'm going to let it resolve. Maybe that's dumb. So they have 6 cards. 2 of them are land. 1's a force. I doubt force is the bottom card of their deck. And now we're going to try to tinker with force back up. Yeah, that's a good one. We can cast this demonic. So this is going to bring us down to 7. Alright, our opponent's had enough. So it's pretty free to upgrade your island against them. Because they don't have wasteland or anything like that. So, like flusters. I actually don't mind Sprite Dragon against them. It raises your blue count. That's like one important thing. But it also like pitches the force. Like in the past, I've actually just like boarded out this package against them and just like done Sprite Dragons. Question is, what are we boarding out? You could argue that like you don't need 3 dragons. Um, but honestly, like Will's a card that like it plays towards a longer game, and I don't think that's how Doomsday plays out. So I think I'm okay with actually boarding out Yawgmoth's Will. It seems crazy, but I don't like this is just like you shouldn't expect a long game against Doomsday. That's pretty much what my belief is. So I don't mind boarding that out. Lavinia and Teferi are both bombs against them, so I don't really want to side those out. Maybe like an opal. Let's try this. Think I'm gonna keep this and just pray to draw Force of Will off Ponder. So in this matchup, Doomsday tends to rely a lot on Flusterstorm. The fact that we have 2 targets that are very good against Fluster makes me want to keep. We're going to shuffle this. A Lotus. A little bit risky playing it out here. There is a card in their deck that I can now say out loud, Daze, that I was a little bit worried about, but they only played 2, and I like the fact that you can just bluff having something off Black Lotus. Like this says like, hey, I had a reason to play out Black Lotus. Come on, please resolve. Please resolve. Just taking a short pause there, making it seem like we're thinking about the Lavinia. Next turn we can play Teferi and a PO. Eight cards, 2 are lands, 1 is a land. Dress is actually brutal here. The fact that it can take out Teferi. Come on, make a decision. Like, I don't even think that this is a hard decision. Like, you just discard Teferi here. when you're playing effects like Duress, the best thing you can do is discard the unique effect. Because, like, no matter what, we're going to have PO. So, I mean, they came to the right conclusion. It just took them forever. So, like, now their Flusterstorms are live. Pyro is a good draw. That Ancestral card's pretty strong, I heard. Alright, we need them to think that we have Pyroblast in hand, so I'm just not going to play the Mana Vault because I want them to think about Pyroblast. They have 5 cards, one of them's an Underground Sea. We know that. Tap this for a red, really sell the idea that we have Pyro. Alright, so no shuffle effect for the opponent. Another land. So Hero Fluster would actually stop us. Yep. And I did that somewhat intentionally because I'm trying to resolve Tinker next turn. I'm still showing that, hey, I have Pyro. Looks like they might be going for it. Hopefully this one resolves a little bit more quickly. Our best draw is probably Flusterstorm, if I'm being honest. We have 3 Flusters, 2 Pyros. Force is not a good draw. I would take another Lavinia. Teferi would do it. Alright, so 1 Force of Will, 2 Force of Will, 3 Force, 4 Forces, Mind Break's in there, Force of Negation. Alright, so they're just going for the kill here. Really trying to sell the idea we have Pyro. And they're just not going for it. I mean, they're not believing that we have the Pyro, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Alright. I'm just going to resubmit. I think our deck list was correct for that game. Good hand. I always get nervous in like clearing my auto yields. Opponent's on 5. I'm wondering if I should even try to play the dragon next turn. I think the answer is yes. If they want to force this, they're more than welcome. They have double force, or do they have days? Double force. Alright, we traded 4 cards for 3. I think we're allowed to let that happen. I mean, we couldn't stop it anyway, but like that was a fine exchange for us. Okay. I might have played that wrong, because I don't actually need the land. Yeah, I should have drawn top here. It'd be 1 more damage. But I guess it, like, we have lethal anyway, so it's not going to end up mattering, but a top would have been better than the land. They need Ritual Doomsday Gush here. Alright, so Lotus Doomsday, and instead they're just dead. Woot! 2-0! Yeah. Getting lucky. Alright, welcome to round number 3. We're on the play. Turn 1 Tinker with Force backup. Let's go. Hell yeah. We're not even going to play a land. Demonic Tutor for top. Mana Crypt is a little bit dangerous here. They're on shops. Honestly, I think casting that is a mistake. Opal's huge. Definitely want that. And that should win the game. So let's put this on the stack. You know what? I thought about going mystical for PO. I don't think it's worth it. Alright, so we're at the point where we need to find Mentor and then play Mentor. keep the white mana floating. Probably should have done 2 white mana if I'm being honest. We're gonna play Mana Crypt and then sacrifice Mana Crypt. Okay, so now what we can do is play this Mystical, go get Time Walk. Go to 3 life, cast Time Walk. This feels like home. I haven't done this sort of POing in some time. Could flash back the probe. We just don't need to. Go to 2 life. Alright, they've conceded. Facing shops. Bring these dragons in. Don't like misstep against them. Pyroblast can go out. Snapcaster is a card that you can leave in. I don't think it's bad. It's just on the maybe board out pile. I think I'm probably okay with boarding out tough. You can leave it in. Like, it's not bad. But I think if you're leaving into Teferi, you're either not boarding in Bolt or you're not keeping in Preordain. I'm pretty sure we saw a Ravager on our opponent's hand. That's not what I wanted to see. So we can't go back. But I'm pretty sure we saw Ravager. And I think that means I want Bolt. Otherwise, if it was like a larger shop stack, I'd probably keep in the Teferis. Like if it was Golos, I'd keep in Teferi over Bolt here. Yeah, this seems decent. Oh, that hurt. All right, you're a jerk. I see you. Think I'm gonna pass. I could go Academy Hercules. That's certainly available, but I want to try. They have one more card deep before I do this, and maybe I'm wrong. This might be Golos, and I should have Teferi in my deck. So if I Hercules here, this top needs to hit something. We're in trouble. We might have just lost. You might be thinking like, well, why didn't you wait any longer? And then you could I'm just going to draw here. On the off chance that they don't waste Academy, it gives me a monk. Why didn't you wait longer? Because I would be shut out of the game if they drew spheres. That's why I didn't wait any longer. All right, I'm just going to concede. We're not winning that. Let's try this. Really need to draw a land on turn 2 for this dragon, a fetch land in particular. I guess a Mox could do. I'm not going to play around the one of Chalice. Ghost Quarter's brutal here. We're in trouble. Alright, so this dragon's not even good. Even if we had a second basic here, they just destroy it with Crucible. We have 3 mana, so if we can find Hercules, maybe we can come back. Alright, so we can Merchant Scroll for Hercules. Did I tap an extra mana? I didn't need to fetch. Oh, in my head I was thinking that this cost 4. That was just dumb. Ah, now I'm going to get my land destroyed. That was bad. In my head, for some reason, I was thinking that... I don't know why. I don't even have a good excuse. Not sure what the plan is here. Well, this Vamp on top of her deck isn't good anymore. If I tap the Opal... Crap. I think we just might be dead. So I can PO to make mana. Or Hercules to make mana. We know that there's a PO on top. So I can't PO here. Pretty much just cleared our top. So now I could vamp, and I can't vamp them at 2. I just want to think through our outs here. So let's say I top and I hit Academy. That doesn't do it. If I top and hit Lotus, we can PO for 2. Honestly, I think our best odds of winning might be just praying to draw exactly Tinker off this. That doesn't do anything. Alright, 2-1. Okay, round number 4, and we won the die roll again. How lucky. We are on the play. Well, this is certainly a powerful hand. Keep. So, I think we lead on Ancestral as bait. And what a way to start a video, right? Like, this Ancestral Recall is the bait spell. And from there, we can cast Tinker. I was trying to initially think if there's a way of playing Lavinia into Tinker, but there isn't. All right, so they're a fair deck. All right, we have to pass. No way. No. Okay. That pause made me think Force of Negation. Another land. It's sort of a bummer. It's interesting. I think I'm just going to get Time Walk here. We're at 7 life already. Jeez. Could get Mentor, Brainstorm Mentor on top, go to 4. Alright. I'm going to put Volt back on top. Or I guess I can put the Jet there. Unfortunately, that Force Will doesn't do a whole lot for me. Alright, well, apparently it was good enough. I don't know what Dispute means, if I'm being honest. Like, it could be Oath. I just don't know. But I know that they're blue, so I probably want these Flusters and the Pyroblast. Blue-green. I think I can probably afford to board out Lavinia. Lavinia tends to not be very good against the blue decks. Let's try this. Update the spreadsheet. All right. One of my personal favorite items, other than the Storm 20 baseball tee in the shop, is the pint glass. See what Jim Baxter had to say about it. Okay, we're back. And this Ancestral card, I like drawing it in my opening hand. What can I say? We're going to keep this. Two on the bottom. I saw... I don't know if I'm supposed to Ancestral here. I think I'm going to, because we saw Dispute. And if they force this, we force back and we don't discard. If this just resolves, it obviously looks a little bit worse. Merchant Scroll only really has Brainstorm to get, or another force. Our opponent's getting salty. I like it. Alright, is there a card we want to get with this Vamp? Probably not yet. They're down to 2 cards. My hand actually isn't very good for resolving an Ancestral Recall. That's a land. I thought about casting Vamp there, but I'm not sure what I'd even get. That happens. Alright, I'm going to upkeep Vamp. So Will seems decent here. The problem is, like, we don't have enough mana to really do anything with it. I could get Snapcaster for Ancestral. And Snapcaster also blocks. I think I like that. Get a land out of our deck. I think I'm just gonna take the damage here. Next turn I can preordain, maybe like PO it back. Jeez. You've resolved 2 Ancestrals this game, and I feel like I'm behind. I mean, realistically, we're not, but I'm just like flooding out a little. Hmm. Okay. I think the play here is probably just like snap preordain. Those are both good. Opponent has 2 cards in hand. I normally don't counter time walks, but the fact that we have Tinker means I would rather have 4 life. Let's draw Tinker. So we have a decision to make here. We can get Citadel, but there's another line. Um, what you could do is get Lotus and then Mystical for Yogwell, flop top Yogwell. The problem with this line is that it leaves you open to a possible card they have in hand. So I'm going to take the Citadel line and just hope to get a little bit lucky. And I didn't even. I was literally just thinking like I'll mystical for Will. Now that I've found Time Lock, but just having it all. All right, so we've defeated what appears to be BUG Midrange, and we're 3-1. Okay, we've lost a die roll. We're facing azatoyellow. I don't know what they're playing, but this seems like a fine hand to me. This Delta really wants to get Tundra. Alright, so probably Bug. Alright, so we need to draw another land. Between Mentor and Teferi. That's what we need. Tinker's good, but like we need mana. Get a good look. Alright, so they're on bug. I mean, I knew that based on the first play, but I can put that in my spreadsheet. One card I'm a little bit concerned about right now would be Abrupt Decay on the Smox. We can't really afford that at the moment. Our best draws are Mana Crypt or Lotus, in my opinion. I mean, I'd take a land. I'd be thrilled with a land. Yeah. So Jet next turn allows me to tinker with Pyroblast backup. They could be on 4-color based on that Ruby play, and they might not be Bug. I don't know if Bug plays. Um, yeah, I think this is 4-color. It's not Bug. Because I mean, I guess Bug can play Strip Mine. But this is looking like a Ren build to me. That is resolved. I was actually wanted to get a top there, so if this gets countered, that'd be amazing. We're at 13 life. Glad I didn't tutor for top. So now what we want to do is find Time Walk. We'd have to worry about end step, death ray, untap death ray. Keep that in mind. Actually, I'm okay with playing that. The 4 life on that isn't worth it. I like the opal. I can play Teferi now and just bounce Death right. If they have a Pyroblast, like, Teferi's the really good target here, but I think they would have cast it on the Tinker. Is that Hardcast Force? That was sort of a lucky reveal, because now we have Pyroblast up on their turn. Alright, we're just going to pass. Can't fluster. Alright, so we've gotten game one. I don't know if I like Dragon as much versus this version. These are cards that I'm like sort of interested in. I've said it before, I like boarding out the top deck tutors in these grinding matchups. I like boarding down on Opal. Lavinia can go out. Hercules. Like, you sort of just become like a fair deck in post-board games. Could do something like this and become like ultra fair. Let's try it out. Because this way we get the flusters and the pyros. Our deck doesn't have a lot of sculpting. So like what you draw is what you draw with this list. We are boarding down on artifacts. So PO gets a little bit worse. But the upside here is that you have less dead draws. So you're not drawing like random opals or whatever. Yeah. And they are the Ren build, so I like going up on lands. And if we lose this game, we can always readjust. Like, if we decide we don't want Sprite Dragons, we can always board those out for the third game. And a quick reminder, if you're interested, you want to see me play your combo deck here on this channel, you know where to go. theepicStorm.com/donation deck. Submit your combo deck and watch me play it. Alright, we've opened up the most fair hand. I think we're going to try this. This could be a legacy hand. Max Ruby's obviously our best draw. A little bit of wishful thinking, but you have a death rate. Don't think I actually want any of those cards. Looks like they don't have another mana source. I think I'm just going to pass here and set up a brainstorm. This way we also have Fluster up if we need it. Looks like we might be getting hit by Pyro here. I think I'm willing to Fluster this. The question is whether or not we want Mentor or the Dragons. I think I want to lead on the Sprite Dragons. Because if something's going to get decayed, I'd rather it be Sprite Dragon than Mentor. For a second, I thought I was targeting my own brainstorm. Looks like they're going to Fluster back. Alright, in a little bit of an awkward spot here. They're going to force our dragon. We can draw a fetch land, we're in business. Pitching another force. Alright, I like them just passing here. No point in playing the Soul Ring out quite yet. If for some reason our opponent drew Treasure Cruise and they tapped extra lands, like we have Flusterstorm open. Jeez. Getting a little bit dicey. Okay, that's a draw. I think I'm actually supposed to get Lotus here. I guess I could just get Ancestral. I'm going to take the Lotus line. This plays around Fluster. I could bounce the Soul Ring and make another Monk. I'd just rather save a little bit of life here. Nope, we cannot play the other Teferi. We still do not have a white source. Tough can go down to 1. I don't mind that. Four-color prowess. Oh, is this Tinker card any good? Boom. All right, we're 4-1. All right, round number 6. We're on the play against ecobaronen Andreas. Yeah, we're gonna keep this. Andreas typically plays Doomsday. So I'm probably looking to cast Ancestral on their upkeep with Force Backup. Teferi tends to be really good against Doomsday, so I'm looking to pitch the PO most likely. And I think we're going to be fetching for Underground Sea. Okay, so really would have liked to land in there. 2 tops do turn on Opal, but we can't cast both immediately. I think I just need to let this resolve. So this is Andreas's most recent deck. It does have 4 copies of Thoughtseize in it. It's like a Shadow Doomsday deck. So 4 of the copies of Thoughtseize on top of the regular Doomsday stuff is going to be pretty tough for us to beat. This deck looks good. It's got a lot of disruption. It's probably, I don't know. Like, I can't imagine it's very good against shops, but Thoughtseize here is going to be tough on our hand. Our best draw off the top would be a Mox, I think, most likely. Long Thoughtseize here. Andreas may be double queuing, by the way. They tend to do that quite a bit. Just trying to understand this list a little bit more. It just looks like Doomsday with Thoughtseize is in the main that can board into shadows. Not a bad draw. They're probably getting ancestral here. Yep. A lot of disruption in this deck. I think I'm just going to take a natural draw and I'm not going to top on the upkeep. So they have Ponder and 3 unknowns. It's an interesting sacrifice of the Lotus. Time Walk. I guess it makes sense if their last card is Doomsday. Alright, so they have Ponder and 1 unknown plus 2 from Dig. Andreas is going for it. Force. So the other card in Andreas' hand could be a force. But it could also just be in the pile somewhere. One fluster, 2 flusters. So there's no fluster storms in the pile. Thoughtseize, 2, 3, 4 Thoughtseize are in the pile. Or not in the pile. Um, no dazes. Both oracles are in the pile. So we know that there's 2 oracles and a force, Lotus and Ancestral. There's 1 unknown card. Um, I'm going to take the natural draw. That was terrific. Wow, the force rip. So I have 2 options here, in my opinion. Um, so they don't have Gush. So let's say they're drawing Ancestral, and I force Ancestral. They ponder into Lotus. So if their hand is cantrip, cantrip, I think I lose. I need to count how many cantrips they have. 1 preordained. 1, 2, 3. Their last card in hand, their 1 unknown card in hand, I think, is the preordain. Wait, there's 1 down there. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so it's preordain, preordain. I'm gonna get Tinker. And my plan here is I'm gonna let Ancestral resolve and then force the Lotus. You can have it. It's weird. Based on how things played out, and me figuring out the Force Lotus, it actually would have been better if I got Yogwill here. Because Yogwill Ancestral them is a clean kill. I should plus this, because then I can cast sorceries off of Citadel if I want to. Running a little low. I don't really want to pay 4 life for that. There's Mentor. I think I'm just going to pass. Alright, so now we Pyroblast. Alright, so we've taken game number 1. I realized that after I cast Will that they had no cards in deck. So I didn't actually need to do that, but it's fine. No Necropotence in their list. If the, oh, I guess they're running Street Rates, so they can't play Luris. That's what I was thinking. I kind of like the idea of like bringing in balance, and then like playing a bunch of artifact mana and discarding our hand. I don't know if that's gonna make the cut, but it's just a thought. Could board out Will, But I think I like Will versus the version that has all the discard. Let's try this. Nope. Got rid of the Pyroblast just because we can't cast it. In hindsight, if I knew I was going to draw a second Underground Sea, I would have kept it. A long brainstorm here. Postboard Andreas' list plays a full set of Flusterstorm. So that's something we need to keep in the back of our head. Four Fluster, 4 Thoughtseize, 4 Force. Jeez. It's a very brutal setup for a combo deck to try to beat. Alright, and Brainstorm is resolved. Now imagine the take here is Demonic Tutor, but it could be Force. So we can hardcast Force Will right now, but that's all we have going on for us. And it's interesting that Andreas ended up siding in the shadows. I like the Teferi. Part of me thinks that this won't resolve, but have to try. Boom! Good deal. Ate a pair of forces there. Yawgmoth's Will, I believe, is the top card of our deck. Oh, wow. What a rip. Ugh. So they're going to go to 3. I wonder if we have a win. Like, I think it might not be worth even thinking about unless we draw. Well, I think we are. But then we tap the Emerald to play top. Academy taps for 3. Cast Will off Soul Ring, Underground Sea. So effectively, we have 4 mana, 5 with Underground Sea. So Demotic into Tinker with no mana floating. Um, is there something better to get than Tinker? Let's look at the deck list. Alright, so Mentor's not going to do it. Ancestral's fine. So I've already thought of this. So like, let's say we just like go get Ancestral Pass and then try to deck them. What they do is they attack Teferi. So all they have to do is start by attacking Teferi, and then that play dies. We boarded out Time Walk, so that's not good enough. Alright, so let's just think this through. Black, black. So that's 6, 8. I mean, actually, yeah, this does it because we also have top and play. It's best to not cast that, I think. I think we have to use a blue mana here, unfortunately. Our only way of winning is via Spray Dragon. I'm going to cast another PO here. Right, so we're going to go to 8. Andreas complimented my play this match. That was really nice of him. Wish him the best of luck in the rest, and we're 5-1 now. Hey there, round number 7, I believe. 7, yeah. We're facing Falkoneye. Their goldfish history has a little bit of everything, if I'm being honest. So more recently, it's been Bug, but it has shops in there and then Dredge before that, and it's a lot of numbers of each. It's not just one deck. But I'm gonna put them on Bug and see how this goes. Don't really want either of those. I guess if there's a chance that they're on shops, maybe I should have played out Crypt, but I think they're more likely to be Bug. Those are a few pretty good cards. I'm playing a little bit cautiously here. I have like this bad feeling our opponent might have a Force of Vigor. All right. Oh, shit. The one card I was worried about. Ah, we're so far. Like we didn't have any lands off that either. I think we just lost. So one way we can still win. So they had double oof. One way we could still win is if we draw running lands and then play mentor and a few artifacts. I'm gonna save some time. Tomahawk seems good when we're boarding the dragons. Let's try this, I guess. I knew that was a possibility. Like, Collector Roof is only a 2 of, but sometimes you get draws like that where you just don't hit lands. They're mulliganing to 5. They have a 3rd Collector Roof on the board of their most recent list. I'm going to fetch Tundra here so that way I can keep Balance open. I'm going to try to play Teferi on our turn. I think I might be able to body them if they try to force. Alright, so I'm pretty sure I can balance away their hand here. So I'm going to have to sacrifice a land, but they're going to discard 3 cards. You know, I almost kept the island too. That's funny. I'm going to hang on to the Lotus in case we draw a Mentor. Could have minus Teferi there. A little bit worried about Collector Roof, so I didn't want to do that. There it is. This fucking card. Boom! They have 1 card in hand, it's an oof. So we should bounce our Teferi here so we can reset it. They're at 19. Sorry, I'm like trying to piece together things and I realize that I'm missing counters on my dragon. But it's not going to end up mattering, so please bear with me. Ah, that's where I messed up. I was looking. Ah, crap. Okay, so it's gonna end up mattering. Um, did I really just pump this? I was like, yeah, I'll play dragon. Like in my head, I was like, well, I have 3 black. I don't need to worry about that. And then I immediately tapped my 3rd black source for the dragon. Should have thought a little harder. And of course, I sacked for red like an idiot. The other top's pretty good. That will probably be lethal. Alright, so it didn't end up mattering, but it could have. They're also going up to 3 force of vigor. Maybe I should be boarding in flusters. Fluster also helps me protect a force will on oof. Let's try this. This hand's bad. The one nice thing this hand has going on for it is that it can play through an oof at the moment. Alright. Daze? It's literally a one of. Am I supposed to force a daze? I think the answer is yes. We just got crushed hard. And they opened up all the land destruction as well. So far behind at this point. And that was awful. We're going to need a miracle to win this game. A Mox off the top into Teferi would be nice. So if I played balance, they would sacrifice Leo. And discard a card. Alternatively, I can play Teferi, bounce Leo. They would draw a card. But I don't really want them to draw a card. Oh. Well, they had the decay for Teferi. Now I have to discard a card. The only way we're casting that Lotus is, or casting that Citadel, is if we rip Lotus. And even then, they have the cage, so I think I'm going to just discard the Citadel. Oh no! Oh no! I just realized I kept Citadel. I meant to sacrifice or discard it. Oh no. I just realized what a huge mistake I've made. Oh, shit. Oh no. The Mystic Sanctuary was not in their last list, by the way. Can't do anything. We're gonna get buried by this library. Why not? I just can't imagine us winning this anymore. I can't cast the dragon. Although, theoretically, let's say they take a hit from the library and then we draw a red source off the top, we might be able to... That doesn't do it. That's only 5. I think we're just dead. Sure. That doesn't matter. All right, so we're 5. What are we now? 4-2, 5-1, 5-2. All right. All right, we're on the play for the 8th round against pokerswizard. Love Tinker, but Citadel makes this hand not a keep. Their last deck was Golo Shops. They could be on Bug or something else today. I don't know. But this combination is not very good. This is a turn 1 Tinker. If we think that they're on Chops. So I was in 14th. There's a chance that we make it if we win. I mean, it's pretty slim, but... Where's our opponent? Yeah, I don't recognize any of the people that they played. So... Masubai was the shops player that beat us. Falkoneye, turns out we were paired down last round when we lost. So that's unfortunate. But if we win, these two are our tiebreakers. So is GoldenStateWarriors. So these are our breakers. They're all towards the top. Hopefully we win and hopefully they win. Waiting on pokerswizard. I can't complain too much right now because I was like looking up stuff, so I wasted a few minutes to start this match as well. So right now the plan is Lotus, add 3 black, Vamp, play Crypt, flop top, draw Tinker, play our Volk, tap it for blue, cast Tinker, sacking mana Crypt. Alright, still waiting on Poker Wizard. Sorry for the delay here. I guess it'd be a good time to remind you... Whoop, wrong one. That we do accept donation deck lists that are combo based, so if you want to support us in that manner, you can. There's also the epicstorm.com/shop. Sorry, I know this must be boring. I'm just waiting on Poker's Wizard to join us here. And while we wait, you can open up that description, join our social community. There's like 5 or 6 different links down there. Make sure to join all of them. I highly recommend the Discord. And by 5 or 6, I mean there's 6. They're on the screen. Why can't I just count how many there are? There's also the Eternal Glory podcast that you can follow, which will be number 7. All right, Poker's Wizard has joined us. We really, really need them to be on chops. Well, they are not on shops. I think I'm just going to pass them. Trying to figure out what our best draw is. I think like Opal would be pretty good. Sapphire. Mystical. Does Mystical do it? Does not. I think we're probably just dead. So one of the things that I was trying to figure out was how we can work the colors because we have to sack the Black Lotus for white at the moment. And if we could sack it for blue, so if this was Tundra, we could cast Tinker. Um, you might be thinking like, well, this is why you shouldn't play 4 colors. Sure. Um, like I'll listen to that. That said, this volcanic would be island number 2 in a standard list that was 3 colors. So like this would be a basic island, and we'd be in a similar position. Opponent's really draining the clock. So Arkin looks like they won. Their opponent just scooped them in apparently. And our tiebreaker, Masubai lost. And Golden State Warriors is down a game. Sorry. I know this is like painfully boring. Part of me wants to know what they're playing because like they have to play a deck that can close out pretty quickly if they're just going to sit here and drain their clock. All right, so they're on PO. They kept Ancestral in hand. Okay. What does that mean? I can snap Ancestral right now. I could sack this for black. Go get Yogwell. Preordain into Will. Please resolve. Please resolve. So if I go and get Tinker, I can't cast Tinker. We've played a land. I think I'm just going to Ancestral here. Is that dumb? What if, hypothetically, we vamp for Tinker? No, you can't do that. I'm just going to Ancestral. That's one way of getting Tinker mana. We just need to reveal Mox to play this. Ah, oh, crap. I knew that was part of the risk. A Mox would have allowed us to play top, and then there would have been an easy win. I mean, we have a force for their Ancestral. Silver Linings, right? Oh, that's brutal. Mm. We just have to pass here. So they replay Mox. Any incident or any spell kills us here. That it's not a creature. Let them burn all the clock they want. Okay. So we lost game number 1. A little bit of misfortune there. Two cards need to come out still. Let's try this. I think Tinker was our best shot of winning that game. Because, like, otherwise you could get, like, Mentor or try to PO, but we didn't have enough artifacts to really, like, PO chain. We just needed to reveal a Mox. Maybe that was just too much of an ask. Or a PO would have done it too, because we could have bounced a Mox. Alright, so this tiebreaker of ours is going into game 3. These two are actually both of our tiebreakers, so it doesn't really matter. This is a wash. pokerswizard is definitely double queuing. Stinks that we lost that game. I feel like that was a winnable game for us. When they tapped blue-white, I thought they had Lavinia, and I was like, I can beat Lavinia. I have the Teferi, and it just turns out it was Hercules Recall. I'm going to keep this. Maybe I'll get lucky and they'll just time out. I mean, it's a slim shot, but like theoretically we can make it. So they've burned 2 minutes just to start this game. Ooh, I don't know how that happened. Parallels is a weird thing. Alright, 3 minutes now to start this game. If we can just win this one, I feel pretty good. But we would also need this to be like an interactive win, like not just me dunking on them. To get them to burn up some clock. Oh, they're back. So they have 6 through my turn. If I had something good there, it would have been nice. well, they're down to 5 minutes now. Hey, we drew our own top. We have enough mana to fluster, snap fluster if we need to. You just topped. So, I'm trying to think of how this would play out. I could take the Teferi and then bounce my own Sapphire and draw into PO or Vault. Flop top, draw the other one. PO for 3. So I'd have one floating. Technically this works. So now we draw the mana vault. So they're probably going to F6 after this. So they'll have like 3 minutes on their clock for a hypothetical game 3. Unless I don't win this turn. And it looks like I'm not going to win. I could Yawgmoth's Will. Maybe that's better. I could also snap PO. Alright, they're just going to concede. Alright, so we won game 2. Just going to submit. Theoretically, you could probably board and preordain up your blue count per force and just pray to not die. They kept 7. I think I have to ship this. This hand's just not good enough. Much better. I think I'm going to let that resolve. These technically don't help me. I'm going to shuffle. Like, I could take Vamp, but why? I could ponder here. I don't want to tap out, though. It's technically a win condition. I'm going to let it happen, because I can block with Snapcaster at some point. They have 3 cards left in hand. I think my goal here should be not to win, but to make sure I don't lose. Pitching Fluster. No point in playing the Strand. That was a good draw. No. No, come on. They hit another PO. Well, they're down to 50 seconds. They have to present lethal in 50 seconds. Wow. We didn't deserve this win, but I'll certainly take it. There's a chance I see you in top 8. Stick around and maybe we'll find out. Alright, well, I have some bad news for you. We got 9th place. It happens. It's not that big of a deal. But going back to the list, it felt pretty good today. I'm not sure if I'd change anything. If you have any suggestions, feel free to put them down below. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Sorry that the last match versus pokerswizard was fairly miserable. They were double queuing the Pauper Challenge. Yeah, and please make sure if you enjoyed this very, very, very long video to like, subscribe, etc. Have a great day. Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.